Hello, my name is Maria Rodriguez, and I will be doing my book review on the children's book Hello Ruby, Adventures in Coding by Linda Lucas. Linda is originally from Helsinki, Finland. She's a programmer, a storyteller, and an illustrator. She studied business design and engineering at Aalto University, and she studied product engineering at Stanford University. She made her debut on Kickstarter, where she had a goal of getting $10,000, and in just over 3 hours, she became Kickstarter's most funded children's book in the process. So I thought that was pretty interesting. She's also the founder of Rails Girls, which is a global workshop that teaches basic programming to young women. And these workshops are organized by volunteers in about 250 cities, and so far have taught more than 10,000 women the foundations of programming in just a few years. She previously worked at Code Academy, where she left to focus on her children's books. And she's a strong believer that the best way to teach coding is, and any computer information, is to introduce it through children's books in a fun way. In the introduction part of the book for the parents, she says, "The idea for Hello Ruby was born in 2009 when I myself was learning to program. Whenever I ran into a problem, I would ask myself how a small, fierce girl would tackle it, but it took until the fall of 2013 for me to decide to be a children's book author. Since then, understanding technology through play, imagination, and creation has become my passion." I thought this was very interesting because it's fairly new. Like she stated, the idea of Hello Ruby came in 2009, while she herself was trying to learn about programming. So what better way to learn than from somebody who went through the same process. These are the characters, Ruby and her friends. The book has a lot more details. These are the details I added, of what I took away from each character. The book has things like a birthday, the interests of each character, pet peeves, favorite expression, secret superpower. So it's very kid-friendly. I included what I took away from each character. So, for example, from the robots, I thought they represented creativity when it came to coding. Ruby, she represents sequence, decomposition, and pattern recognition in coding. The penguins represent the data structures in coding. The foxes represent the selection in coding. Django represents the function and abstractions in coding. And the snow leopard represents the pattern recognition and loops in coding. Like I said, that's just what I took away from it, based on reading the story and the activity part of the book. But I thought it's pretty cool because, for example, for Ruby, her birthday states as being February 24th. Her interests are maps, secret codes, and small talk. Her pet peeves are, it says, I hate confusion. Her favorite expression is why. Her secret power is I can imagine impossible things. So it says about me, I like learning new things and I hate giving up. I love to share my opinions. Want to hear a few? My dad is the best. I tell great jokes. I'm a mischief maker. I prefer my cupcakes without strawberries, please. So, like I said, it's obviously it's a kid's book, and it's very cute. This book, according to what I was looking for online, because I wasn't sure what the age appropriateness for this book was, but it's listing it as 4 to 8 years old, so it's from pre-K to 3rd, I believe. So it's like perfect for kids to get kids' attention and interested in this book. As far as the summary of the content of the book, it starts off with Ruby being a girl with a huge imagination. It's very illustrated, colorful, shows everything she's interested in, how creative she is. and also describes her as being a creative girl as far as the activities she does at home. She plays doctor. She's a bug hunter. She creates things. So, yeah, very creative. And then throughout this whole story, she talks about how she like loves her dad, and then she gets very sad when dad has to go away for work. And she states that dad left her a postcard. The postcard says, "Dear Ruby, today you're off on a grand adventure. I've hidden 5 gems for you to find. Keep going until you find them all. If you have more than one idea, follow the best one. And if you need help, remember that friends can often be found in unexpected places. I can't wait to hear how you found all the gems. Kisses, Dad." So, Dad leaves her a postcard, and then she is trying to find some clues as to where she can find the gems. And she decides to look under his desk. Under the desk, she finds 4 crumpled pieces of papers, which she believes are clues, like a secret code. Those confused me. They didn't make sense to me. One of them said, "Snow leopard lives on a mountain," equals true. "Penguins live in a house," equals false. The other one says, "Steps south to foxes from snow leopard," are 100 times 4. The other one says, "Address robots is 1600 Amphitheater Parkway." And the last one is a postcard. It says, "Greetings from the river," and there's a picture of a penguin. So Ruby draws a map based on the clues, so that's her plan, and she goes out to the unknown, which is in her imaginary place, and visits the places that she drew on the map. So for the penguins, she visits the penguins, she visits the snow leopard, the garden where the foxes are, and the robots. In her map, she does many different things, and I'll go over those in just a little bit. As far as analysis and evaluation of the book, this book is not set in the real world. She starts off at home. She only mentions Dad, but we never see a picture of Dad or anything. And then she goes off on her adventure trying to find the gems that her dad told her to look for. And so she travels to an imaginary world where she encounters problems she needs to solve. And this is done through coding patterns. Half of the book is a story, the other half is an activity book. So it has 10 chapters. 5 of those chapters are based on characters. The others are just, getting her to the imaginary world to find the gems. I personally enjoy the activity book more than the story. It's more hands-on and applying the concept about coding. I found it confusing. Each character represents a basic concept about coding, and luckily there's a glossary at the end, so if I was stuck with one of the concepts, I would go back and get clarification of what each word meant. Again, this is for children, just for them to get the basic concepts about coding. And she did mention this book is meant to be work together with the parents, so yeah, I guess I needed my parents to help me out with it. But for example, for the snow leopard, Ruby mentioned that the snow leopard taught her how to focus and make a ladder, and the foxes helped her how to work together. And she learned how to bake cupcakes with the robots, and she got along with Django, who helped her out even though he was bossy. And like I mentioned before, according to what I read about each character's, I included what I took away from each one when it came to the coding concept. So some of the strengths and weaknesses I listed here. Strengths is that this book is very colorful and illustration is very imaginative and creative. The activity book for sure, I found it to be very useful and entertaining. There's also online resources and activities listed in the activity book portion. So for each concept about coding, there's an activity you can find online where you can print things out to get additional resources for the specific coding concept. And I will show you one of the activities at the end. And it's also a great book for the classroom. You can develop a lesson plan based off the book, or for parents to work with their children at home. Weaknesses, there were many. I personally found it confusing, the story. How it jumped from, I guess you can say, real world when she's at home, and then all of a sudden she jumps to the unknown world from one page to another. So I guess for kids, you have to really say, okay, now she's going to use her imagination. She's going to go to this imaginary world. And some children might not be ready for this book. Like I said, I was trying to figure out what the age for this book is. I found it to be online. It said from 4 to 8, but some kids might not be ready. Again, maybe if you're a teacher, you want to implement this book. Keep in mind, the newcomers who might not even know what a computer is. You might have to, give them more clarification or explain what each concept means in a real world setting. Even for English learners, trying to find the words, translate them exactly as far as coding concepts go. So I found it to have more strengths than weaknesses overall. So here's an example of an activity. This activity is about debugging and pair programming. On this side, it says problems. Each of Ruby's friends have a problem. What went wrong? How would you help them? So here you start here, and it says turn the bath water on, get into the bath, wash, get out of the bath, and end. And then same. And so you pretty much have to, it says, are the steps in the right order? Has someone forgotten to do something? So that's something you have kids do. Maybe work in partners in the classroom. Or maybe for a parent to go over it with a child, read the list and say, okay, what's missing? Or are they in the right order? So that's about debugging, finding the problems in the order some things in and fixing it. Exercise 21 is pair programming. So this activity is called Who Am I? And it says, can you match the right friend with the description below? And it's pretty much giving you clues, and you have to figure out who they're talking about. So let's look at this one first. It says, who am I? I am in the bottom row. I am not orange, and I have green ears. So I'm at the bottom row. I am not orange, and I have green ears. So it would be the robot. Let's look at this one. Who am I? Can you write the instructions to find the missing character? So after you go over all of these, this one, a kid can make up their own instructions because they only have clues for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's 6 characters here, so one of these characters don't have clues. So the student or the child makes up their own instructions. And then here's a hint. It says sometimes it helps to read the problem aloud. Even real programmers explain their programs out loud. This is called rubber duck debugging. So, like I said, they throw in some coding concepts, which is a great way to do it. It's a fun way for kids to learn. Overall, I would definitely recommend this book. It's a great tool for concepts about coding for new students or anybody who's interested in coding. Hopefully you enjoyed this book review. Thank you for listening.